Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Journals. Welcome back to my channel. So I am starting a new series in 2023 where I'm going to go back and look at every single one of my journals and go page by page and just see what I can learn from how I kept my journals, not only with my junk journals and handmade journals, but also with my written journals right back from when I first started journaling as a kid. So it's going to take me probably the whole year to do this, but it's part of my research as well for the book that I'm going to be putting together this year. I'm doing a 9-month bookmaking course, and I'm going to be publishing, my goal is to publish by the end of the year a visual memoir telling the story of my life through writing, photos, ephemera, basically looking back at all of my journals from my entire life and putting them together somehow to tell a story and to help me make sense of myself and my place in the world and that kind of thing. So I'm going to share with you that journey and go through each of my completed junk journals. I'm going to try and do this chronologically, but it's a little bit hard because some journals I stop and start and I often journal in multiple journals at the same time, but I definitely know this was my very first junk journal that I made for myself, because in 2017, that's when I discovered junk journals, and this is my 2017 yearly journal. I made it out of an old Bible cover. I used to collect Bibles and had like 20 Bibles, so I used the pages in my faith journals, and then I used the covers to make journal covers. Oh, my cat just wants to be let out. Let's take a look inside and see what we can learn from how I journaled back in 2017. So to start us off, I started with a nameplate type thing, and I recorded the details of the journal. This is something I like to do with every journal that I begin. And yeah, so I did try, I think, to do it chronologically at the beginning, but then it was just journal anywhere in any order. And this is just reminding me of some of my faith journey at the start of the year, what God was speaking to me about. Be like rain, a lesson that I learned. My mission, I'm called to write and create, to connect with people through writing and creativity, and to uphold people's worth, dignity, and the image of God in them through words and art. Yes, interesting. I believe that was the year that I came up with that mission. And I think I worded it a bit differently now, but cool to see what resonated with me back then. Be like rain. Rain rains. Writers write. Do what you're made to do. And how I'm created to create and write. So the start of the year, I went to beach mission at this beach called McRae. Here's some of the sand from that beach. I love that you can do this in a journal. And beach mission, I wrote a book about this. I still need to publish it and work on it a bit more. But I did 12 years of beach mission and it changed my life. And so I wrote a book about how those 12 years changed me and what God taught me through those years. So just some photos from that beach mission, the flyer. We made some bracelets there. I love these photos. So I took these photos of one night when we were on the beach, and we sat around these candles in jars, just having a reflection night, storytelling and worship. I ran a creative worship session one night and got everyone to do a drawing about how God has moved in their lives or what he was working on with them at that mission. And that was so fun. I loved that night. The Rubik's Cube, I learned how to solve the Rubik's Cube while I was there. And my teacher wrote me this note, a little graduation certificate, and he bought me a Rubik's Cube and sent it to me. So that was like my farewell present from beach mission, because that was my last year of doing beach mission. The impossible is possible. That's a lesson that God gave me through beach mission, and a lesson he gave me through the Rubik's Cube, because I thought doing the Rubik's Cube was impossible. Here are the 7 steps to doing it, solving it. Here's one of my drawings, inspired by Beach Mission. A card that my friend sent me and created for me. She found this quote and said it reminded me of her. Said it reminded me of, oh my gosh, I can't talk. She said this quote reminded her of me. And I thought that was so special because I'd never heard this quote before, but when I read it, I was like, yes, this resonates with me so much. I want to be this person. Anyone can find the dirt in someone. Be the one who finds the gold. Oh my goodness, the gold. Wow, this is the gold. All right, if you've traveled with me last year on my channel and my journey, you know that gold became a huge thing for me, about finding the gold. How I came up with this quote that if you turn up long enough, you'll always see the gold, and that there's always gold and glitter in the dirt and darkness. And before last year, gold never resonated with me. Couldn't care less about gold. But last year, all of a sudden, gold became my thing, to share gold, to find gold, to capture gold. And it's right here. Anyone can find the dirt, so be the one who finds the gold. And I want to find the gold in every person. I want to find the gold in every place, every moment. I want to find the gold everywhere in the dirt. Wow, I need a journal about that. Anyway, bucket list item, I got shellac for the first time. In fact, I got my nails done for the first time ever. Just so happened that it was shellac. This was the year that I got into ballet again up in Bowen and got my hair... okay, so I had this bucket list item to be able to braid hair. And finally this year, because of ballet, I braided my hair like every single class, and eventually I was able to braid well and pretty quickly. I've lost that skill. I've tried it again and it's messy and it hurts my arms and it takes me forever. So I'm out of practice, but I know I can do it. And I just had fun doing all different types of braids, double braids, diagonal braids, pinning them up, using clips. I had so much fun that year doing that. I can't be bothered doing that anymore. Oh, this is cool. This reminds me of when we had ballet and what I did. Grade 4, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That was back when we had ballet twice a week. Oh my goodness. And I did a Saturday class. There was a grade 5 class on Mondays. Did a bit of jazz. And my uniform, I loved... When I put on that uniform for the first time, I teared up because it was always a childhood dream to do ballet. And I thought that dream had sailed. And now here I was taking classes with a leotard and skirt. And it was so fun. Okay, trip down memory lane. This is Cedar Creek Falls. And the first time I went there, and it's just really pretty. There's not always a waterfall, depending on when the dry season is. But that's just really pretty. People swim in there. People jump off the cliffs into the water. This is kind of a fun page. A friend gave me all of these nail thingies. Just some other little memories and notes. Books. Reading goal. 100 books. Made it to 86. Oh, that's interesting to note. 5 better than last year. Interesting. Oh, that year I discovered books through the blog world, that's right. And that's when I got into all different types of genres of books. The movies that I watched that year, the drawing that I did, trying to represent everything I loved. So what I'm noticing as I go through this journal is lots of memories captured from the year, which is wonderful. And if I take the time to actually look at each page, it helps me to bring back all these memories. And just the visual element of it, I don't even have to read anything. Like, I mostly haven't been reading anything unless it's a quick note. It's just the visual elements that bring back that memory straight away. Cyclone Debbie, a Category 4 cyclone hit Bowen, and it was an experience. There was a flood the day after. So, yeah, not only did we have a cyclone, but we had a flood, and it was not fun. We were without power for a week. We were without water for a few days, and yeah, it was interesting. The whole house was surrounded by water. The whole house. My goodness, it was one of the most scary nights of my life, the night of the flood, because the rain was just pouring and pouring and the water level was rising and rising. I'm like, oh my gosh. I loved this laptop back when I got that laptop. My niece and nephew. A letter from my niece. So in the past, I would have kept these in a file folder so I could take them out and read them. And I'm not sure what I like best. I think what I would prefer is paper clipping it in or putting it into a pocket or an envelope, because if I ever wanted to use this in a different way, I can't take that out now. I guess I could scan it, but it's nicer using the original. And I bound in pages from my life, drawings from my nieces and nephews. Sorry, drawings from my niece and nephew. Here, I set up my room as an art studio for them to do different artwork. It was so fun. It's like a little dream of mine to create an art studio where people can just come in and there's a range of activities and people can just do what they want. So they made a snowflake. I did a mandala. My nephew said wow when he saw it. They made masks. So yeah, it's fun seeing these pages bound in. I was really taken with binding pages that come from my real life, but now I don't like doing this anymore because I like preserving these too much. I like the idea of having these able to take out and use and look at in different ways. So if it's permanently bound in or stuck on a page, I feel like I'm restricted in some way. Like, I don't know, it's a bit of a conflict I have, because I do like sticking things in and binding it. It feels more authentic and real and personal, and yet it would be great to use that in different ways as well. So I don't know, do I keep doing this and binding stuff into the journal, real life ephemera and papers from my life, or do I make it so I'm able to take it out? And then another issue that I have when I look through my journals is, do I like storing things, my ephemera, in a journal, or do I prefer just having a separate file folder for each year where I can rummage through and take things out and look at things and it's all in one place, as opposed to this where it's all scattered throughout the journal? I don't know. I'm big on order. I need organization in my life for me to feel calm and happy. And if I had one method for everything, maybe that would work. But I feel like I am spread out in pieces everywhere. I've got some stuff in files. I've got some stuff in journals. I've got some stuff in folios. And I've got other things in folders. And I just feel like I am split. I am divided. I am everywhere. And I just need all my pieces together in some sort of order, even if it's not in one place, at least some sort of order where if I wanted to find something or go through and look at my journey through my pieces, I could do that. But I can't at the moment because I've got this file folder under my bed, I've got this journal on my shelf, I've got another journal in my bookcase, I've got another one in my bottom drawer of my chest of drawers, I've got folders and folios everywhere scattered around, and it's just like, for me, I feel split and divided, and it makes me anxious. It makes me not feel great, having all my pieces all over the place. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm just as I go through these journals, letting them speak to me and teach me something, show me something. Love this view. That's Murray Bay at a lookout, and on the way to that lookout I picked this flower. That's really cool. That's an old address, and letters and different things, artwork that my niece and nephew did, a letter that we wrote. I've got some things covered up if you see paper clips like this, just because there's photos of other people who haven't given permission. A note from my mum. Oh, see, this one's paper clipped in. That's nice. I think that was just sticky noted in, actually. So if I ever want to put that in a different project, in a book, for example, the book that I'm going to publish, that could work. Or if I ever want to do like an art journal page or an artwork, I could put that in it. This is a page that reminds me of my grandma. It's from my grandma's colouring book. So this is actually quite sentimental. Birthday cards, gift cards. I keep all this stuff. Envelopes, business cards, op-shop hauls, shopping hauls for my journals, and happy mails. I did a lot of happy mail back in 2017 when I first started. And here was my original shop. That's the photo for my banner of Willow Bound Journals, or the photo for my YouTube channel right there. That was the first journal I ever made, that one right there. And that was my original shop. This was the very first journal that I ever sold, this one here. My sister-in-law bought that one, and my neighbour was the second person who bought a journal from me. She bought that one. And some various friends bought these other ones. Those two are mine. Anyway, memories from my grandma. The ring. That was the year I bought this ring. This was a bucket list item. My favourite my favourite cut of stone is the emerald cut. So beautiful. A trip that I took to Melbourne to work on the beach mission book that I was writing. That's a good memory there. Again, I don't need any words. Just seeing it is all I need. Dog sitting Barney. The thank you letter that I got from them for house sitting and dog sitting. Oh, that's right. I went on this camp, a mission trip. So these are all photos from that camp. That came from that camp. I bound that into the journal. That doily. It's really pretty, actually. Some photos are on the back of these of the camp. A napkin from one of the events. And I bound in this bandana from the camp too. This was our schedule for running the camp. I was with the Littlies most of the time, looking after the Littlies, and I was part of the music team for one of the other ones. Run sheets for church services. This is another kind of fun thing, being on TV on Sunrise. Our dance school was performing for Sunrise, which was pretty fun. A drawing that I did. That's actually an original. That is beautiful. I love that. If you can hear my stomach rumbling in the background, I apologize. It's almost lunchtime. My very first dance medal. I didn't get one my first year because I only did a term. So my second year, I did a full year and finally got a medal, which is like one of a dream come true, like a childhood dream come true. I did that drawing as well of the ballerina. I copied it from a Google image though. The Instax, this is a wish list photo that I wanted to get an Instax, and I did end up getting an Instax. I think many years later though. I didn't get one too many years later. Happy mails and gratitude. This was so beautiful. Cards from people. So lovely. And I believe this card came from someone in the blog world. I really want to start a blog again, I feel like. Looking at my new pens and new supplies that I got. That was the year I got those. Interesting. More supplies that I got. This was the year that I was so into Happy Mail and very much into buying supplies because I didn't have much to start off with. And so I just went nuts with acquiring supplies for making journals. So I recorded a lot of that in this journal. It must have been my first go at coffee dyeing paper and tea dyeing, and some other pieces of ephemera at the back, some Christmas cards and things. So that is a walk through my very first junk journal that I completed. So when I look at it, actually going through it page by page does make me happy I did this. It captures who I was at that time. It captures my creative style at the time and my foray into junk journals when I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. It was my first go, and it is a bit of an eyesore. At first glance, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the ugliest journal. It is so scrappy and junky and not very organized, and just, you know, for me, not beautiful. It's just an eyesore. Like, so many colors, so much happening. But as I've gone through it page by page, it served its purpose. It's recorded all of these memories for me. Like, all this stuff, I don't know, it looks like an eyesore to me. But everything's there, all the bits and pieces, all the things from my life. I love seeing all of those bits and pieces. I love it. So maybe I really do just like this. It's a bit messy, yeah, and because it's my first go, experimenting, not sure what I'm doing, so it is a bit messy, and I wouldn't call this beautiful. It's messy and scrappy and junky, but I can appreciate that it captured everything. Maybe just, I would still do all the same things, use all the same things if I was to do this again, but now that I've got more experience with layouts and design of pages, and I know what I find beautiful on a page, I might use all the same things, but lay it out differently, decorate it differently. I don't know. Actually, now that I look at it, I'm getting a growing affection for this journal, for who I was back then and the memories documented, and all of the pieces meant something to me at the time. And so even if right now the way I've put them together and the way I've used them looks like a big mess, obviously to me back at the time it was what I wanted to do, and therefore it preserves that, and I like that. So I like it. I do. It's kind of charming in a really messy way. So yeah, that was quite fun. I'm looking forward to going through all my other journals page by page. And I guess it all comes down to what is the purpose of a journal, and there's different ways to use journals, and what is the purpose of what you're doing in life in general, as to whether you keep all your pieces in a journal or whether you keep them in a file folder or in a folder or a folio. I don't know. I still don't know what to do. And maybe part of me wants to redo all of this and present it in a beautiful way and have things not stuck down and maybe organized in a different way. But I'm happy with this. I am. Maybe I'm trying to convince myself of that. It's like a little time capsule in a journal. And I do like how all of 2017 is recorded in here. That's one thing I do like. That pleases my organizing, my love of organizing. That definitely pleases me. So I don't know. I don't know if this venture of going through all of my journals page by page is actually going to give me any answers by the end of it. I don't actually know. I was hoping it would give me some answers as to direction to go forward with how I journal and how I organize all my stuff. But maybe it won't give me any answers. Maybe the answer is just do what you want to do in the moment and let it be. I don't know. We'll see. It's a journey. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts and this walk through my journal and this new series. I'll come back and share the next journal in a future video. Alright guys, hope you're doing really well, and I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to journal your life because your stories matter. Bye guys. A big thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in November. I hope you absolutely loved all of the extras this month. And if you would like to support me in December and get access to extra videos and printables, behind the scenes updates, and first access to any of my creations, the link is down below in the description box. The links are also down there to all of my journaling courses. The Reflections journaling course is running all through December if you would like to document your year for 2022. And if you would like to support my book fundraiser, the link is there to my GoFundMe page as well.